Hi everyone. Lowrider art. Show or ride? With our concept you can have both. Extremely chic and easy to handle is this conversion of a Softail Heritage 114. The most important elements are big wheels, a special swing arm and a triple clamp with more rake, air rides on front and rear, and of course an excellent paint job. The Heritage is the perfect base for an extreme low rider, as seen on our other Chicanos, La Esmeralda or El Divino. The installation of our big wheels in 21 and 23-inch, original 16-inch, is made possible by using a triple clamp with bigger rake and a swing arm with upsweep. Our air rides at the front and rear lower the whole bike extremely, but also make normal riding possible at the push of a button. Thanks to the 95 cm wide Eldorado handlebar with 35 cm pullback, the El Magico is always under control. The running boards from the Harley-Davidson collection are not only practical and chic, they are part of the idea of visually stretching the bike. The extremely long exhaust pipes, which end in fishtails and make the typical Chicano sound, contribute to this. This unusual paint job comes from Chico's gun. The Chicano style is taken to the extreme here with bright red, orange and silver metal flakes, with the color gradient providing a special depth effect. The silver lines effectively accentuate the shapes of our deeply curved fenders. The digger wheels in classic 20-spoke style, the black seat and the many black and black powder-coated parts support this look. Preserving the heritage, promoting the future. The Softail Heritage is already a very popular motorcycle and is often used for cool conversions. The classic bike is often overshadowed by the masculine fat boy because of its narrow frame, but especially in this project the narrow swing arm of the Heritage is the detail that appeals to our customers. He or she prefers a narrow Heritage conversion. The bike should roll off the stage in hip-bobber style with solo seat and a swinging rear fender. The importance remains, that the bike not only has to look great, but the rear tire obviously has to move freely in the rear fender. That's why it's so important, that the space between the tire and rear fender has to be sufficiently sized. For this reason, the conversion is done individually in our welding shop. The installed FLH wheels are the visually strongest modification, which clearly changes the proportions of the bike, due to the large front and rear wheel in 21 and 18-inch. The noble 5-piece wheels of the Black Baron have been powder-coated in black. The entire conversion gains even more value through the leather seat, made by Spirit Leather, and rounds off the theme very nicely. The patterns of the bag, saddle and dashboard cover are contemporary, but completely timeless and thus fit into the successful new Heritage overall picture. Lots of metal, lots of color, lots of everything. This is the best way to describe the Chicano customs. Here we also got a lot of work and turned a softail heritage into a fine delicacy for the lovers of Mexican-American lowriders. Especially for the Chicano style we have developed the swing arm conversion Toxico. With this upswept swing arm the wheel gets deeper into the fender. Matching this, the steering head angle is increased with our Chicano triple trees. This gives us more space for the 23-inch front wheel, and at the same time we change the caster so that it again corresponds to a standard softail. In combination with our air rides at the front and rear, the Heritage becomes a real lowrider. So despite the traditional style, our Chicanos are modern motorcycles with good riding characteristics. The elegant swing of our Eldorado fenders over our 23 and 18-inch digger wheels, original 16-inch, with the comparatively narrow white wall tires, 130 and 150, are also decisive for the Chicano style. The old-style risers take up the high ape in omega form. That fat tube with internal cables is also from our Toxico series. You have a pulse of steel. Grunemeyer & Company could have written a puff piece about this bike, like they did about Borkum and the whole Ruhr area. Our client Fobby comes from the other end of the Ruhrport, which doesn't matter in view of the floating city limits, and has a fitness stall in Mülheim with his business partner. For his Heritage we had some simple brass applications and some symbolic engravings made to show Fobby's connection to the Ruhrport, hammer and iron as symbols for the miner's work, Saint Barbara as her patron saint and Glückauf as a miner's greeting. In combination with the olive green paint, the bike looks pretty noble, but it is still a great riding machine. Fobby came to the shooting on his own and was thrilled. Everything that used to be chrome is now coated in glossy black. The olive green paint may be unusual, but it fits perfect to this bike. It is not hard to see that we were not only doing cosmetics. Our swinging rear fender, handmade on demand, the black wheels with brass nipples on the original hub and the leather saddle with the bag from Spirit Leather give the Heritage a completely new direction. Also the exhaust from Kestec is simply black, the straight pipes end before the hub and change the sound at the push of a button. The flip handlebars with the chic brass grips have the right height for the tall Potsch and let him steer his bike safely. jewel in deep green. We named this green jewel La Esmeralda, Spanish for emerald. Our conversion shines in an incredibly deep green, accented by gold and silver lines. With our special Chicano package we turned the Heritage into a Mexican-American bike of a very special class. For the style-defining components, we reached into our Chicano box and installed, among other things, the curved fenders from the Eldorado series. Underneath roll our digger wheels in 23 and 18 inches, original 16 inches, with white wall shinkos and brake discs from our spoke series. Again, we used our Chicano triple trees to go with our swing arm conversion with upsweep that brings the wheel deep into the fender. This maintains the positive handling characteristics of the Softail. What makes the Esmeralda special, besides the deep green paint, is the generously curved handlebar which is sitting on our short old-style risers. That beach bar makes an upright and dignified sitting posture possible. If you lower the bike with the air rides on the front and rear, the Esmeralda is one of the lowest custom bikes in our showroom. Emeralds are very rare and highly sought after. Let's see how long this fantastic bike will be with us. Classic and powerful. Gunter wanted it to be classically chic, but with real power and with the option of making himself comfortable behind a windshield on longer trips. Nothing could be easier. This Softail model is made for those desires and even comes in 14 different heritage designs this year. So here now is Gunter's WYTCH, as he calls his motorcycle himself. The wheels are particularly striking here, spoked wheels in glossy black with narrow white wall tires from Shinko in 120 and 180 mm, original 130 and 150 mm, make the bike chic and agile. In front we went to 21 inches, original both 16 inches, and also mounted a new GRP fender for it. At the rear, it's our swing-along rear fender that gives the bike a retro style and we make it specifically for these projects. Together with the desired springs and the swinging saddle with the exclusive leather cover from Spirit Leather, the classic appearance becomes particularly clear here. The sound should also match, which is why the Power Filter Grand Classic with a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde exhaust system is used here. The choice of handlebars fell after some deliberation on the 95 cm wide Eldorado, which also visually fits well with the massive tank with the new Fat Boy emblems. Go on riding like a boss. That's exactly what our two customers from Belgium wanted. There's just one catch. Since the beginning of 2021, our small neighbor to the west of Germany has also had a kind of tough. Gone are the days when you could build and ride whatever you wanted in Belgium. Our Chicanos based on a current Softail Heritage 114 are completely road legal and nothing stands in the way of a registration, of course also in Germany. This is important because you can not only win shows with our Chicanos, but also ride mega good. Some little glitter paint, a fancy saddle and the Chicano is ready? Far from it. It takes a bit more than that for such a gem. Namely, a lot of well-shaped sheet metal, including fancy big wheels, a lowering, a long exhaust system, comfortable running boards and, in this case, high handlebars, to name just the most important components. The devil can be in the details. We install our big 23 inches digger wheels with our triple clamp with 6 degrees rake. This brings the wheel forward a bit and the original fork can still be used. Similar for the rear, we rebuild the swing arm to be able to use the pulley brake kit, which then gives the view of the fancy rear wheel. And our air rides at the front and rear, in addition to the progressive air suspension when driving, also provide the desired show effect when stationary. This also applies to the two saddles, which were painstakingly handcrafted at Jimmy Spirit Leather to match the paint. Similar, but not the same. The show is of course part of the Chicano style. That's why, in addition to a lot of black coatings, the spray guns from Chico pinstriping, flame design, and cruiser design, classic design, were used here. Through their gifted hands, the two bikes have given a character of their own. Thanks for watching.